Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good whatever time it is when you're watching this. It's some good education news from the Utah Education Network. I'm Katie Blunt, Education Technology Trainer at UEN. In this show, we're sharing some good news about what's happening with education in Utah. To kick off this fourth episode, we reached out to the community to find some good news stories. October 2nd was National Custodian Appreciation Day, and districts all over Utah reached out to show appreciation for the hard work their custodians put into their jobs every day, and for the extra work they've taken on to meet new COVID-19 sanitation requirements. Tooele School District expressed appreciation for their full-time and part-time custodians, as well as their after-school sweepers. Tintic School District thanked each individual on their custodian crew in a special video tribute. Salt Lake City School District displayed banners at their schools honoring the custodial staff as heroes. And at an Iron County School District Board meeting, Principal Ray Whittier recognized Dave Bettridge, Shane Wilson, and Tyler Hilliard from North Elementary as his Custodian Team of the Year. Congratulations and thank you for taking such good care of Utah students. While Californians have been battling the first gigafire in history, Utah's fire crews have been battling Utah's own record-breaking fire season. Students at Heber Valley Elementary in Wasatch School District created thank you cards and posters to make sure the Heber Valley fire crew knew just how much their hard work and sacrifice is appreciated. Thank you to all our first responders. When Cypress High School freshman Anton Gudick learned about the impact COVID-19 and resulting job layoffs were having on Granite School District communities, he went to work. For his Eagle Scout project, he helped install shelves and food pantries located at 2 Granite elementary schools. He then collected food, clothing, and donations to fill the shelves. He was able to raise $2,000 for each pantry and has greatly blessed families in need. Navajo Nation has been among the hardest hit by COVID-19, and because of their efforts to quarantine and social distance, obtaining food and supplies has been difficult. Local agencies, churches, and relief organizations have donated time, money, and resources to ease the burden on our Navajo neighbors right here in Utah. In Granite School District, Granger High School counselor Mario Platero, a citizen of Navajo Nation, went to work to support his family and friends by organizing local drives for food and supplies. For weeks in the spring, he personally delivered truckloads of donations to the small Navajo communities he knew would have a more difficult time receiving relief. And his work didn't stop there. After cold, hurricane-force winds ripped up thousands of trees in northern Utah on September 9th, Mario joined the effort to use the fallen trees to supply much-needed firewood to the people of Navajo Nation. More than 85 semi-truckloads of wood were delivered by Mario and many other volunteers from local church organizations to areas like Skull Valley, Navajo Mountain, and Blanding. The San Juan High School leadership class joined the effort by delivering a load of wood to a handicapped elderly Navajo man. Do you find these stories of service inspiring? You have an opportunity to highlight the good deeds being done in your community through video. UEN has partnered with Next Vista for Learning to present the Service Via Video contest. Inspire others by telling stories of service using digital video and compete for a $200 donation to the qualifying charitable organization you spotlight. For more information, visit the UEN website. Homecoming celebrations have been taking place on Utah's university campuses, and while many of the festivities have had to be conducted virtually to allow for social distancing, there's one event we're relieved was able to continue. That's right, the Utah State University Tractor Parade carried on. Students from the university's College of Agriculture and Applied Sciences masked up and drove tractors, tractor trailers, semis, and horse-drawn carriages down Aggie Boulevard. Check out the steel front loader on that baby. Amidst the challenges of teaching in 2020, Utah educators continue to amaze us with their willingness to learn, adapt, and do whatever it takes to reach their students and make a difference in their lives. Today, we are thrilled to talk with one such educator. John Arthur is a 6th grade teacher at Meadowlark Elementary in Salt Lake City, and he is Utah's 2021 Teacher of the Year. Hello, John, and welcome to SGEN.
Hello, Katie.
Well, first of all, I'd like to say congratulations on being named Teacher of the Year.
Thank you so much.
I watched some of the footage of you getting presented that award from Superintendent Dixon, and it was really fun to watch your reaction and the reaction of your students.
Thank you. We were deep in it. We were learning and working hard. I tell you, she was quiet as a mouse too, walking up behind me. That's why at first I wasn't sure if there was a person behind me. I turned, and then I saw Sydney Dixon standing there, and I couldn't quite process exactly why, but I knew that something was happening. So.
Oh, that's so great. Well, I'd love to hear a little about your journey as an educator. How did you get into education, and what do you think makes you stand out as a teacher?
Well, my journey into education was kind of a winding road. I like to describe it as a stairway to heaven because I love where I'm at, and I'm really grateful to be here. When I was going through my undergrad program, I loved English and history, and I thought I might want to be a secondary English teacher. And so I went, and after I graduated, started subbing to try and find my sweet spot, and ultimately found that I love teaching elementary school. I love the age, especially upper elementary, 5th, 6th grade. I went to Westminster College to do my graduate work. And while doing that, I, again, found another step in this process and discovered that I love teaching Title I, West Side of Salt Lake. The demographic, the population, the communities, the families, the kids, they're the best. And so this is where I landed here at Meadowlark Elementary, and this is the only school I've ever taught at, the only school I ever want to teach at, and that's now how I'm here in this classroom.
Working as an educator is already challenging, but you choose to work in schools that many consider extra challenging, as you mentioned. What is it that makes teaching rewarding for you?
You would have to be dead inside not to find this job rewarding. Like, don't get me wrong, work-life balance is difficult. The challenges that come with being a teacher, especially right now, can be overwhelming. And so it can be harder to recognize the rewarding parts of this job. But it's inherently rewarding helping children grow and learn. Like there's just nothing better than that. They're the best people in the whole wide world. And when you see a kid who has a need and you're able to fulfill that need, you're able to help them recognize their own power and do things that they may have previously thought that they would never get a chance to do. There's nothing better than that. And that's why I'm looking forward to the work that I'm going to do with my kids currently. the idea of us coming back together at some point, and especially the idea of teaching in a post-COVID world. You know, we're gonna have we're gonna have more tools in our toolboxes. We'll have learned lessons. Um, we'll take the time and the memories of the longing for students, and hopefully never take for granted the opportunity to work with kids again. Kids will hopefully not take for granted how glorious it is to be at school. It may not always feel glorious, but it's a whole lot better than not. And hopefully we get through this tough time as well as we can, and then remember how tough it was, and to be grateful and appreciative of just the opportunity to be at school learning and working.
Definitely. Yeah. Well, I've heard of some unique things that you do in your classroom already to engage students, and I think you're continuing some of them online. Things like chess club and music videos, class nicknames.
Mm-hmm.
How have
Yeah.
you been able to continue engaging students in these and other ways during COVID-19 and online learning?
Well, chess is a little tough. I've been trying to teach them online chess, and it's not as exciting as holding the pieces and like knocking somebody else's piece off the board, collecting it. But other than that, most of the stuff that we do for fun in class is still very doable online, you know, in the digital classroom. You know, let me just take you like through my Friday, if
Yeah.
I can.
Yeah.
So this last Friday, all my kids have nicknames. So if you look at the Zoom classroom, even when Sydney Dixon surprised me here, my name would read Captain. I change it first thing every morning. And then all my students, if you saw in the video, there was like a Big Boy 27 and you know, Porcupine and Sunflower and other kids like that. That's very easy, you know. And it's more useful now in the digital classroom because we want to try and hide their identities anyways. So it became more practical. Back in the day, it was just hilarious and fun for them to have nicknames.
So, in addition to all that you're doing in the classroom, you are also known as an advocate for students of color specifically, and you promote culturally responsive practices in the classroom. So, tell me more about what this means and why you feel it's so important.
Well, so with like the culturally responsive piece, our schools and our curriculum have not done a good enough job traditionally and historically of helping all students see themselves and their community's excellence exemplified in what they learn in school. We haven't seen enough of the spotlight shown on the the beauty that their various communities bring to our country. And it makes it hard for kids to care deeply about social studies or mathematics or language arts if they don't see themselves reflected in those subjects. And so, as an educator, I've always found it um, part of my job and also my responsibility as a leader within this community to push for greater opportunities for our students to see themselves in what it is that they're learning. That's putting it most simply. There's also a great deal of inequity in our school system that will only ever get addressed if we start calling it out for what it is and addressing it. This horrible pandemic really highlighted the digital divide between students from different communities. I'm really proud of the work that our district put in to make sure that every kid has a device and working internet at home. We checked out laptops, we checked out hotspots. We did everything that we could, especially in the spring. It was more just panic mode trying to get it to work. But this fall, we delayed the start of our school year by 2 weeks, and we onboarded kids. We distributed everything that they would need to deal with that piece that we had seen just as a terrible failing in the spring. We recognized it and we learned from it. That's what I want for the entire educational system. as we focus so hard on making sure the kids are brought back into schools and engaged in their own educations this fall, we need to recognize that the school system before COVID ever struck had policies and practices in place that pushed out a lot of students, especially students who were from minority communities, Black and brown kids, kids who were LGBTQ, or students with disabilities. They found themselves pushed out of our schools in a lot of ways, found that there were policies in place that made it harder for them to succeed or to be valued. I always tell my kids, like, my job is not to save you. My job is not to defend you. You don't need me to save you. You need me to teach you how to save yourself. You don't need me to defend you. You need me to teach you how to defend yourself. I will advocate for you, but my job is to teach you how to be advocates for yourselves, for your families, for your communities, so that you can rise as the champions who will uplift all the people that you care about. I'm here as your friend, as your ally, as your teacher, as your mentor, but you are the champions. On the first day of school, I always tell my kids, I don't teach children, I train champions. And at first they're like, dang, this guy's intense. And this feels a little bit extra, what is he talking about? But by the end of the year, and then going forward into the middle school and high school, they get it. And I've been so proud watching my students lead Black Lives Matter rallies and, just writing pieces about kids locked up at the border and whatever issue it is that they care about, whatever social justice cause they want to rise up in favor of. My kids are still doing that after leaving the classroom. And we talked about rewarding earlier. That's probably the most rewarding thing I can possibly hope for, that they take what we worked on so hard for a year and they just make it part of the rest of their journey going forward.
I love it. Yeah, and it got me thinking about in a world where not only as we've mentioned several times, we have this pandemic going on, but there are a lot of things happening right now, social issues coming to the surface, and things on social media and in the news that make it difficult for students to know, to form their own opinions about things and to make their own voices heard in positive ways. Yeah. So I agree with you more than ever before, supporting them and building them up in their capacity to be those leaders, to step forward and to make a change and to make a statement is so important for these kids. Well, thank you for sharing your thoughts and wisdom with Utah's educators. We are excited to continue following you and the great work you're doing.
Thank you. I feel guilty. It's like my students do all the hard work. They're the ones doing all the great stuff, and I'm receiving these accolades. I'm super grateful for it. I don't take it for granted, but I got to share credit, the lion's share of the credit with them. They're the ones doing all the great work. I just get to sit back and watch them in awe.
Here at Some Good Education News, we're not just sharing good news, we're sharing some good tech tips. Jamie Gardner from UEN's professional development team is standing by to tell us all about Utah's statewide Nearpod licensing and to share some good Nearpod tech tips. Take it away, Jamie.
The Nearpod Lesson Library has over 8,500 pre-made lessons and videos that you can use to get started. To find a lesson in the Nearpod Library, on the left-hand side, scroll down and click on Nearpod Library. You can search by topic using the search option at the top, or filter by standard, subject, or grade. Let's say I would like to find a lesson on fractions. I'll use the search option at the top to first search by fractions. Then I can continue to filter by using the filters on the left-hand side. Let's say I'm looking for a 5th grade fractions lesson. You'll notice that this first option has a video play button at the bottom. This is an interactive Nearpod video. Lessons that don't show the play feature at the bottom are a full Nearpod lesson, such as these. When I find a lesson that I'm interested in, I can click on the thumbnail to view the lesson. I can then preview it to decide if this is a lesson I would like to use. To add the lesson to my library, I click Add to my library. From here, I can view the lesson in my Nearpod library by clicking on the green Show in My Library button. I can also click on the Nearpod logo at the top, and I'll see this lesson right here in my library. From here, I can launch the lesson as a live participation or student-paced lesson, or I can edit it. When editing a lesson, I can make a duplicate of the lesson so that I keep a copy of the original in my library, or I can just edit the lesson that I brought in from the Nearpod library. From here, I can make any changes that I would like to the lesson before launching it with my students, and then save and exit. And that's how you find and use a lesson from the Nearpod library.
Thanks, Jamie. I'm Katie Blunt, and that's our show. For more good news stories, follow the UEN Homeroom podcast. And if you know of any stories that we can share, post them via social media and use the hashtag UENGoodNews or tag our social media profiles. We'll see you next time. Until then, stay safe, stay kind, and keep learning.